Morning FlossTube. It's the 5th of January 2021. Happy New Year to you all. This is a channel about cross-stitching, quilting, a little bit of crochet and any other craft I may or may not feel like having a go at and achieving something in. We shall see. My name is Kirsty. I haven't been doing these crafts for very long at all, but I do have a big bag of shame. In here are all my finished cross-stitching that I haven't fully finished yet, and 2 quilt tops that I need to sandwich, quilt, bind and finish. So that will be one of my aims for 2021, is to start slowly working my way through getting those whips or finished objects fully finished. Before I start, I would like to give a big shout out to Lauren of Flossabilities. She's Flossabilities on Instagram and she has a YouTube channel as well. I think she's done about 4 or 5 videos. I found her videos a couple of months ago now, binged watched through the first 3 or 4 and sort of contacted her and had a nice chat about her projects. And then this last video, I again commented and said, oh, you know, I'd quite like to give FlossTube a try. And she was like, yes, go for it, I'll be your first subscriber. So no pressure, Lauren, but I expect you to be top of the queue. So go and watch her if you have not yet watched her. She's got some fantastic projects on the go. So on to my cross-stitching. I've got notes over here because otherwise I don't remember things. I currently have 4 whips on the go. I started the majority of these last September, and I'm aiming to finish a couple of them this month, and then I will reduce that down to 3 whips. And that's because I found last year my my cross-stitching overtook my quilting. I've got a lot of projects I want to do in both of these, and the quilting wasn't getting the time. So I hope going forwards that I can spend the first 2 weeks of the month cross-stitching and then focus on quilting for a week, focus on crochet for a week if I have a crochet project on the go. If not, I will just carry on quilting or topping up the cross-stitch if I'm nearing the end of one. So my biggest project at the moment is Language of the Flowers. I hope you can see this. Language of the Flowers by Rosewood Manor. I am enjoying this now. It took a little bit of getting into. There's quite a few colour changes, and it wasn't until I'd sort of organised my counting or sorted out the counting, and now I can pick a colour, work it throughout the whole flower, and then carry on. And so it's going a lot quicker, which is great. So this is my progress so far. Sorry, I'll try and keep it still so you can see it. This is 27 count Linda, and I don't know whether it is antique or cream. It'll be something, it won't be white, but it is just off-white, it's just not glaring. And as I said, I'm enjoying doing this project. I'm about, well, the big purple flower, that's the middle motif. I have managed to go wrong on that. I'm not going to point out my mistakes. If you can spot them, well done. So that is the middle of the entire pattern. So it'll be twice as wide, but those are the bottom motifs. So yeah, really enjoying this. And, you know, obviously hope to continue working on it and finish it within the next couple of months, possibly. My next project is Prairie Schooler Farmer's Alphabet. Again, I started this in September. And this is, I don't know, I'm gonna have to start here, I think. I'll work my way across. Sorry, I can't see what you can see, which is why I'm peeking over the top. This is 28 count Monaco, we don't have many LNSs in England. Whenever we go anywhere, I now Google local needle workshop, and this shop didn't actually show up. I just happened to be walking down the street and suddenly saw it and dived in, and I saw a roll of 28 count Monaco. That's what Priscilla and Chelsea use. I've got to get it, got to give it a go. I'm not fussed, I'm afraid. I don't know if different makes, if you'd get different makes of Monaco, I don't know. I find it a reasonably stiff fabric. I do like, if I can, I stitch in hand. If I can't, I'll do it in a hoop. I find I need to put this in a hoop. And the holes are just very tight, really, and really quite awkward to see. I have stitched on other 28 count fabrics that I seem to get on with a lot better. So I'll show you a couple of the squares closer up. I have done the outline with 1 thread over 2. The letters are 1 thread over 2, and I have back stitched around those. And then the actual vegetables and the leaves are done with 2 threads over 2. I've used all the called for colours. And I have to say the back stitching and the changing between 1 and 2 threads is my variation on it. I'm sure there is a method to my madness. I can't remember what it is. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep everything a bit organised. My third project is from Waxing Moons Designs, and it is November from the monthly sampler series. I've been looking for a sampler series or a monthly series for quite a long time, and this is one of the first ones that I came across that wasn't too Americanized, and there's nothing wrong with Americanized charts, just the 4th of July Independence Day doesn't mean a huge amount for me, and obviously I think in November, although there aren't fireworks in this one, but for us in November, Remembrance Day, Bonfire Night is more applicable than Thanksgiving. So I really like all these patterns. I've actually only bought 3 of them. I need to buy the next few. I've done October. I'm working my way through November. And they stitch up reasonably quickly. I'm hoping, because this looks backwards to me, that it's forwards to you. So I am a border girl. I like to start with a border, work my way around to make sure it all matches up, and then I find it easier then to count from it to get the placings. This is another 27 count Linda. I really do like 27 count Linda. It's a fantastic fabric. Again, it's either antique or cream. I can't remember which, and when you put the 2 of them together, there's very little difference between them. There are big blocks of colour. So for example, this will all be filled in with a brown, as will the bottom. There's quite a bit of back stitching, which I learnt having done the first one. I left it till the end. Oh my God, losing the will to live here doing this back stitching. I don't mind back stitching, but it did just seem to take forever. So I am now back stitching as I go along. So as I said, I've done October, this is November. I intend on continually working on these until I've got the entire year done. So this will be one of my 3 whips, as and when I finish the other whips that will still continue going. And then my final whip is a Haid. When I first started cross stitching only a couple of years ago, I hadn't heard of Haid. It took me a long time to work out what a Haid was. And then when I realised what it was, I thought, oh, you nutters. I have no intention of starting one of those. And then I think it was Darren from Dizzy Stitcher who posted in the Stitching 911 Facebook group that Haid was having a sale. So I thought, well, I'll have a look. And then 3 charts later, I shut my computer. So I have looked since, and I think I have bought the only 3 Haid charts that I would genuinely be interested in stitching. I am only going to do one at a time. And the one I am doing, let me just check. I haven't been able to Photoshop it, and my PDF is a dreadful picture. So if I can bring it up, I will. Here we go. So I am doing This is, oh no, that's the wrong way. That might be better. Mini Garden Gate. Artwork by Amy Stewart of Heaven and Earth Designs. And I think because mine is mini, I'm assuming I am cutting off a few rows from the bottom. That's what it seems to be at the moment. I don't really know what I'm doing with Hayes, but from what I can work out of the chart, that would appear to be where I'm losing some of the chart, I suppose. If it's not, please correct me. So far I have got 2. I'm not going to take it out of the hoop because I want to start it soon. Start working on this again soon. I have got 2 here. So when you bring it up close, the outlining isn't fantastic, but as you get further away, hopefully it looks a bit better. This is 1 page. It has taken me 3 months to do 1 page. And I still have a couple of threads that I hand ordered I ordered them just before Christmas, and they took a little bit of time to arrive, and they will be the first things I will fill in. I think it's taken me so long because I don't really know what I was doing, and it's taken me a while to get into a method of it. So when I first bought it, with my other projects, I'd like to get them finished. I enjoy stitching them. I like to make good progress, and I want them up on the wall when they eventually get out of the bag. This one I have no time date on. I know it's going to take me a long time, but it's going to take me even longer if I don't actually stitch on it. I started doing 1 strand a day, thinking I'll just put 1 strand a day, and then hopefully that'll be a continuous nibbling away at it. It got quite a faff really to get it down, sort it all out, find the right piece of paper, blah, blah, blah. I then started this parking method because I wanted to take 1 strand and go cross country. So I then thought, well, I'll park it. And I didn't get on with that at all. I was constantly fighting with threads that I was trying to stitch underneath. I made a couple of mistakes, as I found out later on, where I'd picked up the wrong coloured thread thinking it was one or the other, and made a few errors. And this is on, I think it's probably 18 count easy grid Ada, or just an easy grid. And whenever I seem to travel cross country, I seem to end up stitching all around the corners. So then when I'd get to that square, I would still struggle with counting because I'd covered over the corner section. So I've now decided to start at the top of a column, pick a colour, work it all the way down, go back to the top, find another colour, work it all the way down. I really enjoy that. I seem to make much more progress doing that. And it's just a lot easier. I don't know how these people do it that are doing it on 28 count, 32 count, no grids, travel for miles, and they've got 5 greens that all look the same. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I am enjoying this, and it is one of the reasons why when I finished a couple of those whips, I only want to keep it to 3. I want this to regularly be in my rotation so that I can complete it eventually, because I have more that I want to do and more that I'd like to buy. So those are my current whips. I think my plans have basically been covered in to keep on stitching on what I've got on, and going forwards I want to work on my Haid, my monthly samplers, and then choose another project to supplement those 2, which can be anything out of my drawer of kitted up projects. And when I get to that point, I'll have fun choosing. I did receive a few. Did I receive a few Christmas presents? I bought them for myself because I didn't think anybody else would. So I put them under the Christmas tree and opened them, which was all good fun. So I'd like to show those quickly. There's really not very many. The first thing I bought was the Ultimate Sampler Motifs source book from Brenda Keys. So that is the front page. I can't take you through it because it is just page upon page upon page of motifs. Just going to cross stitch black and white and grey. You've got parrots and peacocks, animals, black work borders, nautical, floral, churches, potted plants, alphabets, and everything in between. I have a few samplers that I would like to do at some point. I'm not hugely religious, so if the saying doesn't speak to me, I will probably change it to something else, which is why I was quite keen to get this to use the alphabets at the back of it. And a few designs, a few of the bigger designs, I'm thinking of Consider the Lilies. I have bought that. There are a few animals in that don't really apply in England, and I thought I might try and swap them out. I might not, but I might do. One thing I did think when I was flicking through this is they do have an entire page of crowns. I thought I might choose myself a crown and use it as my little signature at the bottom of my cross stitches, which could be a bit of a laugh. We'll see. Whilst I was on that website, because nothing can travel alone, mine normally travels in 3. I was obviously quite good this time. I've only travelled in 2. I bought from the Plant Wisdom Sampler from the Sample Company, designed by Brenda Key. I hope you can see that. It says, if happiness be your pursuit, plant wisdom and enjoy the fruit. It has a reasonably simple border on it. Quite a few houses. I'm not a huge house fan, although I'll probably find them easier now as I go along. I've sort of got into a rhythm of how I enjoy to stitch them. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that at some point. Goodness knows when. And then the final thing I'd like to show you with regards to cross stitching. This is a box, a couple of you might, or a bag, a couple of you might recognise it. I am not a Floss Club member, and I'm not a Fabric of the Month. I don't subscribe to any Fabric of the Month clubs. However, I am on Coffee Craft Fabrics Facebook page from Megan Coffee, is the lady who dyes the fabrics and organises the Facebook group, I suppose. And I have been stalking her site for a few months, looking at pretty fabrics, thinking, ooh, I'd like to buy something. And she announced that she was going to do a Christmas box. So for a set price, you could get 6 pieces of fabric in 3 different sized cuts. You could choose either even weave or linen, and it would just be a surprise as to what you got, a bit of a lucky dip. I haven't got any of these out, which is a bit silly of me. So I again ordered, so I decided I would do that because I haven't really needed any colourful fabric, but it's always quite nice to have some around. Excuse all the crinkling, that is if my sound is even working. I might not be recording anything at this rate. So the first cut size is 9 by 12. I got a 20 count Ada. So that's all, yeah, it's very nice. Actually, I'm going to pause you, take these all out and come back. Right, I'm back. I hope you're back. I think I'm going to have to edit these 2 things together, which will be quite interesting because I'm not technically very savvy at all. So the next piece of fabric in 9 by 12 was a 27 count even weave. Just that. We then move up to a 13 by 18, and I got a, I asked for Ada, any Ada, and 27 count. So even weave. So this is the 13 by 18, 14 count Ada. This is a 16 count Ada, again in the same cut, 13 by 18. And then the final cut was 18 by 27. So this is an 18 count Ada. Oh, sorry. And again 18 by 27, and this is a 27 count even weave. So they're really pretty. I've no plans for them yet. I'll find something to do with them though. But I think really good value for the price we paid. You also received some John James needles and a pair of scissors and 2 chocolate Malteser reindeer, which obviously I haven't made it this far. They were eaten. So I think, let me just check my notes, I think that is all I have to say with regard to the cross stitching. So I'm going to move on to quilting. If you're not interested in quilting, I'll say goodbye. Thank you if you've watched so far. I hope you like what you've seen. I hope you'll subscribe, leave a comment, and I plan on doing monthly videos, I hope. And so I hope you'll be back beginning of February to join me. Bye. Right, on to quilting. I assume they have gone. So I started quilting about 4 or 5 years ago. I have a friend who quilts who I asked her to show me how. And she said, "Oh, are you sure? Do you really want to go down that route of buying lots of fabric, cutting it into little bits and then sewing it all back together again?" I said, yes, I did. I often don't think I've made many quilts, but when I actually sort of count them up to think, oh, which one am I going to show and not show, I have made quite a few. I am reasonably good with regards to the fact I only tend to have 1 or 2 projects on the go at a time, and I do finish what I start. I have 2 in the bag, which once as I'm finishing this one, I hope to also complete, and I'll show you those then. But at the moment, I am working on a hexagon, Star a Day, Somerset Designs. So I'm hand piecing this quilt. It is supposed to be a scrappy quilt, and at no point does it talk about English paper piecing. However, this quilt would lend itself very nicely to English paper piecing, and I have seen, I think, other people who've done this quilt and have obviously English paper pieced it, and it looks very good. Mine, however, is not English paper pieced. I've just winged it. So I had a bunch of scraps that the friend who introduced me to quilting had given me, and with really no concept of how much fabric you need to make a quilt, I merrily started on this and then probably ran out. And the Star a Day, essentially you're supposed to make a star a day, and at the end of the year you have a quilt. This is my 3rd year of doing this one quilt. I have had a few holidays from it when I haven't had the correct fabric, or just when I haven't really been bothered to do it. I do enjoy it. I love it now that I've got to the point where I've actually made all the stars, and I'm now just piecing it all together. Having said that, I can see a bit of it is falling apart there, so I will stand up to show you this quilt. It's very, very long, which is great. I do like big quilts, but this is very, very long. So here we go. It is all the same top to bottom, with the exception of those 6 hexagons in the middle. So join it with diamonds, and then you piece. So this end is going to have another 3 of this light blue and dark blue combination. And then, sorry, I should have got this out earlier. My next combination will be these reds and pinks. Hopefully they all pick colours up from each other. I have hand pieced this. I will probably machine quilt it. A little bit over it now, to be honest with you. It's only because I don't like to not finish things that, and I'm sure once it's done I will love it. Just want to get it done now. So I will be doing that, well, until I've finished it really. I'll give it a week, this month, whether I get that fully done. I don't know actually. I might be able to. It might not be bound, but hopefully I'll get the top actually completed itself. I was going to talk about a whole load of plans that I had for this year for my quilting, and I've spent the last 6 weeks saying, I'm sure after Christmas we're going to be put into a full lockdown, which we have been. And I've been talking about this with everyone. And the other side of my brain has been saying, in January, you can go and buy the fabric for this quilt, that quilt, and the other quilt. Now I can't. And I think, oh God, that's my plans up the Swanee a bit, really. So I haven't got a lot of plans to talk to you about because I don't really know what I'm doing. I have a lot of table runners that I'd like to make and some project bags I'd like to make. And I do have some fabrics I can use. I'd quite like to do a lot of quilt as you go this year. I've got a book which shows you 3 different methods of quilt as you go. So I'd quite like to do some of those. I would like to get some seasonal quilts made, autumn, winter, that sort of thing. But we shall see. We shall see what happens. So that's the end of the quilting section. Short and sweet. I will show you. I was going to show you the first quilt I ever made, but the dog is lying on it on the sofa at the moment. And I wanted to keep this video reasonably short. So I will show you some of the quilts I've made next time. So I'm now going to move on to crochet, which will be a very, very quick segment. If you're not into crochet and you've watched this far, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll come back next month, etc., etc. So crochet, I've always wanted to learn. Excuse me, I'm just going to get. I've always wanted to learn how to crochet. And I did a quilting group I was in. There was a very kind lady who tried to teach me. She had the patience of a saint, and it lasted about 15 minutes before she just said, yes, no, I can't do this. I was in Hobbycraft in August. I think it was the first time I'd been in since we'd been locked down in March. And I saw this absolutely gorgeous fabric that I just wanted to crochet something with because it was really sort of autumnal. So I bought it. Bought the crochet hook, came home and found a tutorial from Bella Coco, and it is called How to Crochet a Granny Square / Absolute Beginner. And it was published on the 21st of January 2018. I'm sorry, I'm not going to link it because at the moment I don't know how. But if you go Bella Coco, How to Crochet a Granny Square, she has an awful lot of tutorials, and I found she was really, really good because, I mean, everybody shows you how to do it, but a lot of them, the camera angle isn't quite right. So, and I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. And so they go, oh, you need to go under. And I think, well, are you going under both strands, or are you going under one, the front one and not the back one, or the back one and not the front one? Whereas hers, it was so clear that it really was very easy to follow. So I came home and spent, I think it probably took me all day, with the exception of a 2-hour phone call with my sister. It took me all day of pause, rewind, pause, rewind, pause, rewind. And eventually I had finished a block. I then continued doing that until I had enough blocks to call it a blanket. So I don't know how to crochet, I know how to make a granny square block, and that is it. So I will show you this one. Again, I think I'll probably fold it over. It's the easiest. But as you can see, lovely, lovely colours. All my blocks are very mishmashed, particularly the earlier ones where the tension wasn't great. It is that size in total. I still have half a ball left, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. I think it's 7 by 8 squares, and I I don't know how many more squares I will get out of the ball I've got, and I don't then want to have to buy a third ball just to join it all together. So I've stopped here. This is great lap size quilt. It's really, really warm despite having lots of holes in it. And I thought I had kept the yarn name, and I'm sorry, but I haven't. But it's from Sirdar, Sirdar. It's 100% acrylic. It is shade 843. And I'm sorry, that's all I can tell you about it. I thought I kept it, and I haven't. But it is this in a ball. And they still have it because I only saw it a couple of weeks ago when I last went into the shop. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really pleased I've learned how to do it. Though one thing I was going to ask was, I haven't blocked this. I hear people talking about blocking it, or about blocking crochet, and I've Googled it, and sort of it seemed to be the resounding you shouldn't for blankets and granny squares and things, but more if it's for clothing that you should. If anybody knows, could you please tell me? I mean, it's great, but it is quite, I don't want it to stretch too much. I think I'll probably only hand wash it and dry it flat, as I've been told to. But I don't know, should I block it or shouldn't I have blocked it? If you could let me know, that would be great. So rather than doing the sensible thing, which would be to buy some cheap yarn and actually learn the crochet, all the individual crochet stitches and whatnot, I decided to just buy some pretty yarn, because I had seen, I wanted to crochet a shawl. I watch Shiloh of Cross Stitch MD, and she is forever knitting shawls and socks. Socks I want to learn how to knit next year. I just want some socks. But the shawls, I thought, oh, I can crochet one of those. So I have found a tutorial on Hooked for Hope by Tiffany Hanson, and it's called How to Crochet a Shawl Fast and Easy. I'll be the judge of that. And my first shawl pattern, and this was published on her YouTube channel on the 27th of March 2020, so hopefully that'll help you find it. But it's just a very simple triangular one yarn. It's just crochets with a sort of almost like a herringbone down the middle of it. And I've got some lovely fabric for it. Yeah, I should have bought some just cheap stuff, but I didn't. I went into a yarn story in Bath, which hopefully, can you read? And she has an awful lot of lovely yarn. And I said, oh, I want to crochet a shawl. And I couldn't tell her much more than that. But I have walked out with Ushatita? Don't think I'm saying that right. I hadn't actually read it before this. So yeah, Ushatita. Fibre Art Merino Sock. Vikings is the colourway, and this is made in the Netherlands. So 75% merino wool and 25% nylon. Bought 2 of those, which are absolutely gorgeous. No idea how big or how small my shawl is going to end up being, but in a couple of weeks' time, I will start and we will see. So that is it for the crochet. I will be more sensible next time, and I've got some wool that I am going to use to just make dishcloths or what have you, and learn how to do the stitches. So I actually know the names of the stitches, and I can't read a crochet pattern, so I'd like to learn how to do that. But I just wanted a pretty shawl, so I bought that. So that is the end of this video. That's the end of my little crochet segment. If you've made it this far, thank you very, very much. Give yourself a gold star. I do appreciate it. I hope you have liked what you've seen. I hope this has recorded, and it has recorded with sound. I didn't think to check that before I started this. As I've said before, I aim to do a monthly update, because just so I've got enough to show really to make it worthwhile. So I hope to be back at the beginning of February. Please subscribe, please like, please leave a comment, and have a fantastic January. Bye.